Okay, so we are Marty Holman
Hi, I'm Lisa Holman.
of Holman's Harvest, and we have been farming here in South Florida for about 8 years, and we have gotten a little more serious lately. I guess I'm an engineer by trade. Lisa is a physical therapist. We had this property in Lisa's family, is how it all kind of started, and so we kind of came out here and started a project in biodiesel, growing on a couple acres, and that kind of fizzled after a few years. And then we started trying our hand at tropical fruit and vegetables, and just kind of as a hobby.
Right, we had a garden at home and we had a little 5x8 patch, and then that turned into a 12x12, and then we realized we had 15 acres out here. So we started to do our hobby farming out here, and it took off.
One of the things that inspired us to get a little more serious is our son, at 1 year old, our oldest son, became very sick with the E. coli 157.
E. coli 0157.
All right. So that was a big inspiration for us to start growing our own food, because we suspected he got that from organic spinach that we bought and put in a smoothie. So that was a big part of it. And then I quickly fell in love with farming, as well as I guess you did too. And it's become a passion. Like we said, we have the 15 acres. We build structures, we have chickens, tropical fruit, all kinds of salad, vegetables. We have a high tunnel now, and have attained a bunch of equipment and learned a lot over the last, I guess it's been.
We have some honeybees as well, and just this year we applied for a new grant with the USDA, and we are able to expand on our honey and pollinating type things.
Yep. Across the board, I believe our eggs, I believe our salad mix, I believe our tomatoes taste like back in the olden days, is what a lot of people tell us. And I think why that is primarily because we do everything in soil, and we are trying to build our soils organically. So we provide our soils with organic amendments, compost and elements that is necessary. We test our soils to know what it needs, and then we provide those things into the soil before we plant. And then we don't do anything to harm the microorganisms. So those microorganisms basically process all that organic amendments and then feed it to the plants. So it's a very natural, perfect system that I believe that is 100% why our vegetables and eggs taste so awesome.
But we don't rush our food. There's something going on now called the slow food movement. I don't know if people are familiar with that, but we're letting it grow the way nature intended, tending to our crops and vegetables by hand every day, walking through it, looking to see what's needed versus big giant equipment with somebody just driving over and spraying it. We're actually looking at the leaves to see if we had beneficial insects or if we have insects that we don't want to be there. So that's a big reason. And as I don't know if we I don't know if we mentioned it beforehand, but we have 3 young children. We have almost 5, a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old, and so eating clean and healthy is important to us. We're not perfect. We also stop at some of the fast food places that we probably shouldn't, but we are trying to do our best, and you know, we want to share that with everybody else as well. As a mom, I know that you always want what's best for your child, and if we can help you do the same thing, then that's a win-win.
Yep.
One of the unique things about our eggs is that we do not wash them. Store-bought eggs look perfect and shiny and white because they are, the chickens are kept in cramped up cages, and they're fed hormones so that they can produce a large amount of eggs all the time.
Antibiotics.
And they're given antibiotics because of their cramped quarters. They'll get sick because they're not outside in the sun getting good old vitamin D. They're not eating grass and beneficial bugs, so their immune system is weakened. So because of that, they get sick, they need antibiotics, and they want them to produce a lot of eggs, so they give them hormones. We don't do that. Our chickens are out in the pasture.
The sun is our antibiotic.
Yeah.
We also do our best to keep our eggs as clean as possible, and that way we don't have to wash.
Right.
And the natural seal that the chicken puts on the egg allows it to stay at room temperature for a month at a time,
Right.
without requiring refrigeration. But that's critical. You can't wash it and then potentially try to put that oil coat back. I don't think that's as good as
What nature intended. Yeah.
So that's kind of the crux of, I think, why our eggs are room temperature, not washed, and taste awesome.